Hey, let's learn prompt engineering. We have an AI tool that's going to create some artwork for us for our blog. We want to kind of make blog content in a specific style, we don't have any design resource, so we're going to use this, and then maybe the designer, when we do eventually get one where we can afford it, can just kind of copy from that design and make them better. But we're going to use Crayon. It used to be called DALL-E Mini. I think they had to change their name because the original DALL-E, DALL-E 2 is the latest version at the time of recording. This is like the premium one. You need to be on a wait list to join it. And there's some limitations in terms of copyright. The images are amazing though. This is the really, really good one. Crayon is free and you don't need a waitlist. You can just try it out today. It's a good one to learn on. Maybe if you do get access to DALL-E, or there's also Midjourney and a few other ones that you can try out, then maybe you want to retry the prompts that you create in Crayon. Okay, so we're going to be going through this prompt engineering guide. This is something that kind of walk you through a lot of detail in how to actually kind of create artwork. But we're not going to read the post. We're just going to use this template here just to kind of give us ideas for what we want to add. How do we want to get the images we need? And a prompt looks like this. So this is an example of a photograph of a space whale, a whale in space, through a porthole by the artist Alphonse Mucha and also by Andy Warhol, and then a few other extra words in here to kind of modify the results we get. And we can see, the results that we get from DALL-E, from Midjourney, and then from Crayon as well. And it's pretty clear that the detail is better in DALL-E, but the others two get pretty good results as well. Cool. So let's go back to our tool. The first thing we want to do is just type in, illustration for a company blog. And I'm just going to hit enter. You usually just want to start with a subject, which is what it is we're illustrating, or a format. We're just going to see what this comes back with. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, up to 3 minutes. So we're going to keep talking while we do this. The first thing you want to do when you're creating prompts is to kind of look at the different styles that are available. So in this case, we said it was by specific artists, Andy Warhol, Alphonse Mucha. If we wanted to have an idea of what the style of Alphonse Mucha is, we can see that. It's kind of interesting. And you're going to learn a lot about different artists this way. But that doesn't look like the style that we want for our B2B blog illustration. This is still running. So let's try and find a few other examples. You can go through the list. You can also look at different design or let's see, art styles. To see like what are the different styles that come up. Most famous art movements and styles. You can go through these. There's lots of different ones available, but these are probably not going to work. So you're going to say, because we want specific styles are going to work for a B2B blog. So art size illustration B2B blog. Cool. So let's just see what we get here. Okay, this is pretty cool. So yeah, I like these ones. So you see these everywhere now. They look pretty premium. So you can see like these types of illustrations here. Let's click through and see what these things are called. So let me see. Let's see if it actually tells us. It doesn't tell us there. So maybe we can find that type of style somewhere else. Corporate art style. Okay. This is from Know Your Meme, so really useful. Oh, here we go. So corporate art style, also referred to as big tech art style, global art style, corporate Memphis. Okay, yeah, so it's flat art style is popular amongst big tech companies. Cool. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. So, we could copy this corporate Memphis, and then let's see if our DALL-E is coming here. So actually, it does kind of come in with this corporate Memphis style already. It kind of looks like it, but some of these are not quite the same. So let's see. Let's just add corporate Memphis. We're just going to say like in the style of corporate Memphis and see what that comes back with. We're also going to make sure this is like a white background. So you're going to say white background here, because then that will make it easier to like remove the background afterwards. And our blog has a white background as well. Cool. So we could look at different designs, find other art styles that we want. But I think this will be good for us to use. So while we're waiting for that to run, let's look at a few of these other things here. So there are not just the styles and the artists, but different formats. In our case, we're doing illustrations. And then there's these boosters. So there's like trending on ArtStation. Because a lot of the images were taken from a website called ArtStation. If something's trending on ArtStation, that kind of means it's very high quality. So when it's kind of trained on that data, it kind of knows that word is kind of a magic word that says like, I want something that's really high quality. There are lots of other kind of words that make it look really good in terms of high detail. So we might be able to use a few of these. There's also these variance words. So variance words, like in this case, it's called control the soul for this whale. But these are different words that kind of bring about like a bit of a distortion effect, like a bit more introduce a bit more variance or creative variance into the piece. So we have a few different ones here. There's just a sparkle there. So we can try a few of these. And see if any of them kind of work. There's also perspective. So, we've already kind of used white background, but you could also, if you're making this photograph, you can make it like a fisheye lens or something like that. We should be fine here for perspective because we're doing illustrations. Cool. Okay, so these already look very good. I'm pretty happy with this. So the detail is like not 100% there. It's a little bit smudgy. So let's go in and see like what's a way that we can boost the actual quality here. So we're going to add professional, and then we're going to add maybe extremely detailed. Maybe extremely detailed is too far. Instead, let's make up our own. So let's say we want the lines to be really kind of well drawn. So like maybe you should say like clean lines. Let's just try that. The other thing we might want to do is put like the actual subject of the illustration, because these are just different illustrations and we could just pick these at random, but we want to actually make them about something. So our company, what it does is it links different websites to each other, so you can kind of promote your e-commerce products on your blog or on other people's blogs. So I'm going to say illustration of websites being linked together for a company blog in the style of Corporate Memphis. I'm going to make this like a B2B company blog to kind of reiterate that. And I think this should be pretty good. So the other thing we might want to do is like dictate the colors. So I kind of want like pastel colors, like maybe warm pastel colors. See what that gets us. All right, so we're going to let that run and see how that works. While we're waiting for that, just kind of go through a few more of these things. Some of the tools let you do exclusions, so you might be able to say no plants in Midjourney, for example. But DALL-E is actually pretty bad for that. You can also do sometimes mixing, like in this case, we're mixing one artist with another, so that's pretty interesting. One other thing to think about is solidifiers. So we mentioned here that we have a photograph of a space whale, a whale in space. Why did we include that repetition? Well, the reason is that sometimes, especially if you have a long prompt with lots of different things, kind of loses the subject of what we're trying to make. And you can actually kind of see that in Midjourney. It's put a lot more effort into the porthole here than it did into the detail of the whale. So in this case, you can maybe do further repetition. It doesn't have to be specifically the same words again, but it's like a different way of saying it. So one thing I've found from some people trying to create Homer Simpson in multiple situations is if they say, Homer Simpson, from the Simpsons cartoon, Homer Simpson, Homer Simpson, Homer Simpson, say it like 3 times, whatever, you say it in multiple different ways. Then sometimes that will, on alone, will just increase the accuracy of the image. Cool. So let's see if this is still running. It is. Hopefully that'll be done soon. What other tips do we have? So one of the things I think is really useful for this is like just thinking about what you're going to use it for. So in our case, we're just using this for company blogs. But we could be, using it for lots of different things. So, we could be using this for our advertising, potentially, depending on the quality. We could be using it for, our Instagram pictures, potentially. We could be using it for presentations. And once you start using these prompts for multiple things, you start to realize the importance of reusing the same prompts. You want to kind of keep your brand style guide consistent across your different visuals. And that's the cool thing that you can really do, with these AI art tools. It's very, very easy to kind of keep the consistent look and feel once you're reusing the same prompt. In this case, here we go, too much traffic. Okay, so we have to wait for a second. So in this case, we're kind of using this as an illustration, and we're saying of websites linking together. For the next blog post, all we'd have to do is change this part here of websites linked together. We're going to change that to something like, of a website being examined, or of a mobile advertisement, or of people solving a problem, or of a blueprint being reviewed. Whatever the essence of the specific blog post is that we want to use, we can actually, kind of just change this one part, this subject, and then we've got like this whole rest of the style is going to be consistent. So each of the illustrations we create, and we can create hundreds of them, one for each blog post. Each one is going to be in the same style. And this prompt now becomes part of your brand guideline. Cool. So let's try this again and see if it'll let us run it. Just going to wait for that to run. Okay. So a few of the other things that you might want to know about is copyright and commercial use restrictions. So in theory, Crayon, they are pretty open with commercial use. So their tool is free. They show ads in order to pay for it. It says, can I use the images generated through Crayon? They have terms of use. They seem pretty open. They do have commercial licenses. So you can kind of search here. So you have to enter into a commercial licensing agreement with them if you want to use it for commercial purposes. It's unclear whether that kind of just posting on a blog is going to be a big deal. But like if you're using it for a for DALL-E, actually, unfortunately, they own the copyright of every image, but you could use it, for just ideation, and then commission an illustration from a designer based on what you found from DALL-E, because they only copyright the image, not the prompt or the style. So you can just copy that exact style once you find what's working, and then you're giving the designer a much better creative brief. But our image is done, which is pretty cool. So we actually have some interesting ones here. Some of them are better quality than others. I think, like, if I was going for this, I would probably say, maybe it's this one. That looks kind of interesting. It's a bit blurry. This one looks kind of good. Kind of looks like the websites are linking together. This looks pretty decent. So, you kind of go through your own taste here. When you're happy with what you want, you can just click screenshot, and then it will save that image. And you can also hit and try this again and just see what you get back. If you keep trying it, eventually you'll get something that's good. And you can also change the prompt as well. So if you're not getting much luck with like websites being linked together, maybe you can change it to like mobile phones being linked together, or products being linked together. You can try different things. You can also change some of these modifiers as well. But that is prompt engineering in a nutshell. And I hope that's useful.